Today on Coffee Roasting Legends, San Franciscan roasters Bill Kennedy speaks with Henrik Q Coffee in Glendale, California.
Welcome to Coffee Roasting Legends. My name is Bill Kennedy, and I'm the owner of the San Franciscan Roaster Company, where we manufacture high-end artisanal specialty coffee roasters. And over the years, I've had the privilege of meeting and learning from a lot of individuals that are inspiring in the things that they've done and accomplished, roasters, business owners, and enthusiasts. So on this podcast, I'll be sharing their stories, insights, and a passion for coffee, exploring the craft, the culture, and the people who make coffee roasting truly legendary. Today, I'm joined by Henrik, and he's the owner of O Coffee in Glendale, California. And he's built a mission-driven roastery around community art and great coffees. Really want to touch on the art part too. Henrik, I think you do an awesome job there. And he's roasting on the SF6 that he's sitting next to. Anyway, welcome to the show, Henry.
Hi, thank you so much. This is really a great opportunity and honor to have opportunity to first talk with you, Bill, and then to be a part of your podcast. This is really cool, and I'm really excited. Thank you for introduction. Yes, I'm the coffee roaster and owner of O Coffee, where I'm trying to learn more about coffee. And I'm a guy who sometimes feels himself lost in coffee world.
So there was a time, just think back to the time where you weren't in coffee, and what were you thinking? What was the process? What was the path that you took where you started thinking you wanted to do something with coffee? Uh, how did that start? And then what did that journey look like?
I think it's really cool question, but it's one of the questions when someone will ask you like, what you're dreaming about, or what you want. This is probably the most difficult question, and I think each piece and of the puzzle brings you somewhere, and in the end you will getting some kind of picture that you never expected from. However, I will say that I was more tea guy by the time. I'm talking about my 20s, 90s. But because of my work, I was usually using coffee to start conversation with. It will be business partners. It will be, just a love story where you will say, "Hey, can we have a coffee together?" Or just give an excuse saying, "Hey, I will have my coffee and then I will back to this job." So anyway, coffee is in the kind of part of your life, even you are not going to have coffee, and then it's also probably some of that portion is my family's kind of point where they own a coffee, they own a restaurant chain called Cafe Central, which has small air roaster. It's a bit different than drum roaster. And they were roasting coffee for the restaurant and for their customers only. It's not a big thing. It's a small, nice thing. And probably this was the first introduction of myself to coffee, where I was curious to know how it works and how they do this. And this was really exciting to me to see how this machine actually operates. And then, to be honest with you, there is another part of that you are involved also, because when I first called you, I were not thinking about having a coffee shop or open coffee roastery. I were more concentrated to have a small 1 kilo coffee roaster, to have fun at the garage, and just zoom out and from the reality and go just have fun. And then when we start the conversation, I don't know what happened, but this was really interesting because it kind of gave me confidence to move forward, which with the things that I like to do. to not be afraid to start the move, because by the age when you are getting married, having family, and getting more responsibilities, you starting to move things around you that you might be more interested in. But I think it's also kind of works wrong, because when you move too much things away, you're losing your kind of small portion of happiness, and now you are not happy for your family either. So you should be keeping yourself healthy and push forward your passion. And I would like to thank you again, giving me this confidence that I end up purchasing this beauty mine. My wife usually says that this is now your second wife.
Yeah, I've heard that before. And well, I will say the work-life balance is important, and it is easy to get passionate about in this industry. There's so many wonderful nuances to embrace. I will say too that a lot of these nuances can be intimidating. There's so many things to learn. It feels like sometimes, and it's like, how do I get on top of this? And if you're one of those kind of people that feels like, um, well, you have to be perfect before you know, it's okay to be prepared to go into a venture, but you don't have to be perfect to go into a venture, right?
I
Um,
think
explain. I mean, how much have you learned? I mean, how long you been in business, for example? Talk about these things. How long you been in business? How did you come to pick that roaster? Because you've seen a lot of other ones. And what is your goal? What are you wanting to accomplish in the near future?
so. I'm roasting in San Franciscan SF6 almost 3.5 years already. This is process of endless learning, and I would like to mention there is no any point where whatever you're gonna start or whatever you want to do, there will be everything that you want to know, and then you will be having everything that you want to have to start. You eventually need to start, and then by the time you're gonna learn and figure out what should be the direction, you should be open-minded and move forward. The most important part to move forward. Where I want to go, to be honest with you, I'm kind of I need to mention that I'm probably a lazy guy who likes to organize things around, so he will be able to do nothing. And after purchasing this beauty, it probably changed my lifestyle, and I would like to have some small warehouse, garage, I don't know how to name this, a showroom where I will be able still roast in small amounts to have opportunity to discover more origins, to discover more roast profiles, while it's also going to operate as a business and have team members who will do the parts that we should have to be able to run as a business. Because in the end of the day, this is a business, and it needs cash flow, it needs organization things and all that stuff, which is I'm right now doing. uh, where I would like to be, I would like to be a guy in the middle, in a room where will come to do his roastings by time to time, and he will be usually there. But I will need probably a team where they're gonna do this more consistently, and they will run as a business. Right now, we run this as a business. Most of our point right now is on it's in workshops where I'm trying to share what I'm learning right now. I think it's really great. I would like actually to jump back a bit and say that when I was trying to figure out myself, like questioning myself, where should I get the beans, how should I roast them, and all those stuff, and I were doing some research, figuring out like, hey, where I need to go, what kind of workshops do I need. The first one obviously was the one that I came to Carson City, and was really great to meet Mark. I was surprised, and I don't know if the auditorium knows or no, but the Mark is U.S. champion of roasters 2017-18, and it's one of the team members in San Francisco. And this was really huge opportunity to meet and learn from him and the approaches that he goes with the roasting. And it was kind of a great blank list where I came back home the same day. Like my flight was 8 p.m. and then I came home, I took a shower, and I just got back to like my roastery to start like experimenting with the things, to not forget what I was hearing and try to see how it works. And well, I was confused in the beginning because it's a different roastery, it's different location, you have different gas pressure, there are many like those kind of things. However, I texted like Mark, hey, this is working that way, and I don't know what to do. And he goes like, relax, it's okay. So so eventually I started to roast, and I started to figure out like there is many people like myself who actually looks forward to figure out how it works, how should I do this, and all that stuff. And I thought it will be really great to give them also opportunity to know what I'm doing while I'm doing this, and to not be afraid to be wrong, or to not be afraid to say that, hey, I don't know, I'm just trying this. This is what I've got. This is my roaster. Those are the beans that we're going to roast, and see what's going to happen. And eventually, this brought me in a real cool spot where we start to be a small showroom where all the neighborhood friends like to come to visit, not only to see the coffee roasting process, but they start to use my space to showcase their kind of passion, because probably they saw my passion and how much I love the process of me roasting coffee. They get inspired, and they woke up their kind of passion. And now, if you will one day visit some, it will be really cool. You will see a lot of like photography, music instrument, books, and we end up having like book reading clubs, photography nights, deconstructive jazz nights, many other components that I will never think that it's actually going to be there.
Well,
So
let's talk. I was going to say, let's talk more about that, because that's something that I think you've really turned your coffee house there into a destination for all these. Let's just call them cultural events. I mean, you've created a coffee house culture that fosters creativity and community, right?
I
Uh,
think coffee is a cool tool to connect humans.
well, agreed, 100%. But there's a lot of people that are, they're thinking about going into the coffee industry, and they want to model basically what you've been able to accomplish. Would you talk a little bit about what are the sorts of events? Talk a little bit more in detail on the types of events you hold. How do you advertise for those events, or how did those events become an idea? And then how did you jump into, because you'll have jazz events, right? And then but you also have coffee tastings events too. So you're pretty diversified in the types of events that in your outreach to the local community. Why don't you, sorry, I'm doing a lot of talking. Why don't you talk and kind of tell us what you've done and how you've done that?
I think generally when you have um, low options to figure out like what you're gonna do, you kind of getting more interesting ideas that usually you will think about. And this was kind of the things that I think. So let's talk about the jazz. Like, I were just roasting some evening in my roastery. Just unknown guy came in. He goes, "Hey, this is a cool place. Can I play a guitar here?" And most of the time, you will think this is a crazy person, and he will say, "Hey, go away." I just went and say, "Please do. I mean, I will definitely enjoy." And he brought his guitar. He started to play the guitar while I was roasting. It was just me and him. And like 15 minutes later, we saw like bunch of people just standing next to the windows and looking at us like, what those guys doing in? And then we thought, hey, it's actually cool. Let's meet next week, like make it a bit more organized, and let's see what's gonna happen. And he was also crazy enough, like myself, to experiment with those ideas. And we end up having nights where we were thinking that music and coffee, those are two tools where you using to zoom out whatever is happening in reality. And as a business perspective, this is a great thing to connect them together. Because, however, if you will think this as a business, anyone is paying for something because they want to enjoy something, they want to have some emotions, I will put it this way. And music and coffee, those are both cool things which can give you this opportunity. So we started to connect, and Rene, his name is Rene Montenegro. He's a really cool guy. He's a friend of mine. We are already friends almost like 3 years. And it started from, this guy, my roaster, actually brought me so many cool friends. I can't explain how cool is this. So we had and we start to figure out, okay, how we can actually monetize this process, but keep it also interesting and go forward with this. So I told Rene, saying, hey, listen, I'm roasting coffee. This is my passion. Your passion is music. So I will think about organizing the roasting and you think about the music. So one day we'll just think how we can connect those ideas, and we end up having those deconstructed jazz nights, which goes really cool. And I think in any community, wherever you are, wherever you are, you definitely have a musicians next to you. And those are the guys who are actually looking some stages where they can introduce themselves, experiment themselves while you're experimenting with your roast. And this is a cool combination. And I think it's also really healthy for the community, and works. It benefits all of them. And so from that kind of point, I end up having many different people interested on the place, and that's why we have like Agape, Gover, Leslie, Liana, photography. This all are people who live next to me, and those are all people who do other things in their real life, but they have some kind of passion which never was opened. So now my space kind of becoming a place where everyone is welcome to showcase their passion. And
Right.
this also benefits in business perspective, because you now have more interest in your business, whatever you do. And it's also kind of nowadays, it's also important to have the social media and web page and introduction of yourself and your business. And this is also kind of gives you opportunity to have more wide auditorium. To be honest with you, at the beginning, with starting with my coffee roasting workshops, I will thinking that this is going to be interesting only for the people who are roasting coffee or have a coffee shop. And then from few probably months, I figure out, first of all, you don't have that big auditorium that you are looking for, because there are not so many people who know actually what is coffee roasting. Most of my friends think that coffee actually grows the way that we used to see. So it's first of all, we should start from some kind of entertaining program where we can introduce what is actually coffee, make it more interesting, and bring forward farmers to do the most hard part of the work and job, where mostly they under the curse not seen. No one knows that it's a long journey. Like it takes 10 years to have a coffee, and you actually as a roaster are responsible to not mess up if you roast, because you just want to open kind of and showcase their work, which took many lives and many and lifetime. And I it's a kind of small drop to any community which lives nearby the coffee. So whatsoever, we start to design events, taking in consideration which direction we would like to go, because I would like to keep one of them more technical part where I can share what I do while I'm roasting for the people who wants to roast. It doesn't matter, do they do roast in popcorn machine at home, or do they have thinking about purchasing a roaster, or they actually are already roasting? Because I've actually find out that there are many roasters who were starting a business and they were thinking about like big production. So they actually have big experience of roasting, but they never had a time to go back, slow down, and figure out how I actually need to roast to smell it good, to test it good, to not burn those flavors which I'm getting from. And they actually were curious to know that there are techniques that can help you to.
Well, that's an interesting point because, I mean, we build a high-end roaster, and so our clientele typically are people who are accomplished or want to become accomplished. But coffee's an old industry, right? For hundreds of years. And I had one friend, he said, you can learn how to roast 80% of what you need to know in a week, but it'll take that extra 20% the rest of your life to get to know it. And I think too, and what I hear you saying, what I really appreciate is that you, um, even if you weren't sure, it's like you stepped ahead, you went ahead and did it, and you gave the opportunity, whatever it was that presented itself, whether it was a thought or someone walking in the door, you gave an opportunity, a chance to evolve into something, right? Because if you don't give the opportunity to evolve into something, it's just going to be a nothing.
Exactly.
And yeah, you can't be afraid cat.
There was also a moment where, I mean, family, friends, they want to kind of cheer you. Those are people who are cheering you. But how my grandma says, unknown people are the people who will help you, and family and friends will be people who are cheering you, because whatever you do, they're going to say, don't worry, it's okay. But the unknown person who comes and buys kind of feedback is going to help you eventually to get the point that you want to. One of the things also that I would like to mention, that I was trying to not rush with my roast becoming a wholesaler or to roast a bunch of coffee, because then I thought I'm going to lose the main point of mine, where I'm interested to roast small amounts and to be able to roast as much origins and as much farms that I can and figure out those profiles. While if I will take a direction to just a wholesale, then I will lose probably this opportunity. I mean, we have just 24 hours per day, and you can't do everything. So I thought, okay, maybe we should move forward, taking in consideration the kind of main thing, what I want to do and what I'm enjoying to do. And this is kind of gonna work as a magnet, because people are looking for human beings who are able to do the things that are they enjoying. And I will be kind of a good virus where they can start to do themselves the things that they like, while I will have opportunity to roast more and experience more. And kind of this is probably what gave me the idea to take events as a main constructional kind of concept. And that's why we have designed like those few different programs. We have behind the scenes of coffee roasting, hands-on coffee roasting. Then we have a new thing called Evening of Coffee Magic. This is late roast, because I like to be late at the roastery. I love usually to have my music, and then when lights are off, I'm a more night guy, and I'm enjoying roasting at nights.
Okay, yeah. All right.
So, and my friends will be interested to what I'm doing there. They will call me, hey, can we come to say, go like, okay, now I'm going to sell you tickets. Like, if you want to join me, you need to buy a ticket. I can just, have a friends all the time at the roastery while I'm trying to figure out what should I do. However, those are the cool things that I start to do the research and find out actually that it's a missing part in the industry, because most of the industry is concentrated in wholesales and being consistent with their flavors kind of points, which makes sense, obviously, because this is kind of the thing that you can scale and make it bigger kind of corporation or a business. But then there is a middle which is missing, and this is kind of a middle which is learning about coffee, sharing this passion with others who wants to learn, and eventually give people more perspective what is actually coffee. Because let's say we know, like comparing to wine, we know coffee like 300 years less than we know coffee. I will put it this way: we just discovering coffee. What is coffee? How it should be roasted? Like, how many percent of people know what is Arabica coffee, and how many of them know what is specialty coffee, and how many of them know that actually coffee should be roasted before you can kind of use this? I mean, those are the things that I thought it will be really cool to do, because one of them, it's gonna be introducing the farmers and their hard work, and then their work will be appreciated more. then it's gonna help people like baristas, coffee roasters to be appreciated also, because now they will know how hard it is actually to get the quality which we want to have in our cup. And then also be a platform where you can also introduce a passion and share, first of all, for my kids, like showcase them that how important it is to go with the things that you want to do, and how important it is to move, like you mentioned. It's important to move. Like, you're never gonna know everything, but it's important to move to learn something. And
So let's yeah, to kind of wrap up here, I want to finish with that thought that you started there, and that if you were to give some advice to someone who's thinking about taking this journey, um, what would you say to them? And then the second part is, and this is always a big thing with people. It's like, how do you come up with a name? How did you come up with your name? And what does that mean to your coffee community, your local
I
business?
think there is, it's a good question. And it's a question which involves many concepts and many ideas behind of the name, which sounds really simple. It's like number zero. It's a circle, which kind of zero is, it's a beginning. It's also middle. It's also circle, which is connecting. It's also, by the time, was my knowledge about the coffee, zero. So uh, I don't know. I always love the round things, and I always thought that the zero is a really power thing, and I was always curious to learn. There is actually a book about the zero. I thought actually it will be really cool to have a all coffee. To be honest with you, I started to discuss this with my wife. I were saying, hey, what kind of names you think we should have? Because uh, she first idea was to have Henry's Coffee, which then we figure out it's actually busy. We have a cool coffee roaster called Henry's Coffee in San Francisco. Unfortunately, he passed away, and his son now he runs the business, which is really cool. And I thought, I don't want to be kind of a shadow or something, so it'd be definitely something else. And I don't know. I want to be honest and transparent with you. Sometimes I also was afraid to be too much connected with the brand, because a business, it's like your baby, where you need to be with that 24/7, but you want to see sometimes later himself healthy, and you will be just the guy who will see how it goes forward. And you don't want to too much sometimes connect yourself into your business, because you think it's much more better than I am, and I might be some days wrong, some days I will do something wrong. I don't want people connect me to this beauty. You try and kind of also preserve. I maybe it sounds wrong, but those are the thoughts that
No, yeah,
eventually brought me to the point of zero and all coffee. And people start to love this, and sometimes they confuse, because when you say all coffee, they will type all coffee, ALL dot coffee.
oh yeah,
But then you will go, oh, it's just letter all dot coffee, and then you go, oh no, this is cool actually. But now we are having a problem where they will do allcoffee.com, which probably you guys are gonna have the same problem, because I heard a few times that San Franciscan, they will have a difficulty to pronounce or spell this, and then you will end up, you can buy, you mentioned one of your podcasts, you can buy the whole domains.
yeah. Well, that's why our domain is San Fran Roaster. So people have to remember where the S's and the C's go in San Franciscan.
And for the last for your question, you were asking for the ones who wants to start. I would say just the more important part of anything to start is to remember that you need to be happy and healthy to make a happy and healthy community next to you. It will be your family or neighbors. And then whatever you're gonna do, it's gonna take time and experience. Why you don't go and do the things that you're enjoying, so it will be much more cooler, and you will do this much better because you're enjoying whatever you do. And then it's always a solutions there, in like in my scenario where I was trying to figure out like how I can roast in small amounts and also be able to scale. And then I figure out that actually people are looking for experiences. They want to paint, they want to go to wineries to test wine, they want to go wineries to learn about wine, and no one actually knows about coffee. Why we don't go and cover this part? And this is really cool because by the time I were doing research, there was no one. And now when you go and you start searching like coffee roasting workshops, you will find a bunch of them. And this is really cool. This is what actually I was trying to inspire in many of friends. And then I end up saying this is happening in, I don't know, New York, Washington, in different countries even. And this is really cool. And the community of coffee is actually really cool. Those are really friendly people who will be able always to help you out, answer your questions. And I don't know, don't be afraid of, just move forward, be happy, smile, and just do whatever you want to do little by little. You know, you might not rush like myself and buy like a bigger roaster that I were thinking to wipe, just have a 1 kilo roaster. You can just go and start roasting in popcorn machine and just start to experimenting with that one. And who says that you need a space or something? You can go ahead and start this doing in your garage. And then this will be much cooler and intimate place to start with, and you will be more safe. So I think there is no excuse. You just need to start with something and smile more. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's all good. Yeah, there's a certain amount of joy that comes with the confidence, and uh, but if it's all fear and trepidation, then yeah, it's probably not a good thing. But there is risk, and there is some fear, and there is some trepidation. But I think you kind of hit it where if you have joy and the happiness, uh, it is a lot of that is in the pursuit,
Oh,
and
definitely.
it's very fulfilling. It's the people that say it's life is for the journey, and so this is a journey, right? And you find joy in the journey and not in the destination, to use
Make it fun.
colloquialism. Well, listen, we're at the end of our time. Henry, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. They're valuable, and I know that people are going to love hearing what you have said. And so you're located in Glendale. Well, tell us what your uh, website domain
So
is.
my website is basically Coffee. Right now we are located in Glendale, California. To be honest with you, we are on a page we're expanding right now, and we're looking for our second location to have a bigger space. Hopefully it will be in the end of this year, and then I can share this also in my webpage. My webpage is Coffee, where you can see our upcoming events, everything what we do, and also we have the art corner where you can find people who, most of them, we're updating this consistently, but most of them are already there, so you can also contact with them if you will be interested in someone else. I'm trying to have those direct bridges with people who showcasing whatever they do. And yes, right now we are located here, but we are looking forward to expand in different locations. It's not going to be so far right now. It's going to be something nearby. Uh, but yes, social media and our webpage going to be the places to where you can find us. And I also would like, Bill, to thank you all, because this is you are the guy who actually were the first in my journey, whom I start to talk with. And how fun it's gonna to sound or no, I mentioned this once, but I would like to mention this with my auditorium also, that sometimes with workshops, I'm always interested in you saying, hey, this was the guy actually who gave me this confidence, and I start to do this. And I'm comparing you to the Santa Claus, sorry for this, because he looks big, he's so kind, and I mean, this is the red dress, only the missing part of this, to call him Santa Claus. And you were Santa Claus for me, because it was the end of the year that I called you, and you gave me a present, which was my journey, which I'm really enjoying, and I'm sharing and making many others happy because I'm happy. So thank you, and this is an honor to be a guest in your podcast, and hope to see you someday soon.
Well, thank you for your kind words, and yes, we'll definitely stay in touch. Thanks again, Henry. Okay,
My pleasure.